Yeah. All right, we're hitting go live. Hey, you guys, I just want to welcome you to the most amazing call of the entire year on YouTube Live on our Become an Online Tutor channel. And here's why. About every month or so, you may notice a new person coming on into the community that is really just doing some awesome things. I promote them to receive the Tutorpreneur Hero because they either are really good at getting students, or they're really great at being able to be a community member inside of the Insider Secrets Club. And I reward them with the Tutorpreneur Hero Award. And every single one of those people was invited to join this call. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll get a couple inside of this call. And I was just blown away by how many people said that they would join us for this call. There are 10 people that are coming on in today to be able to share their story, what it's been like for them, their journey, their tips, their secrets, and you're going to have the opportunity to be able to open on up and ask any questions that you specifically have. Which reminds me, I need to grab my phone so that I can follow you guys and see what questions you actually have. So this is me putting my volume down all the way on my phone so that I don't start echoing or talking on here. But yeah, I absolutely love this community. And you guys are looking at why I love this community. It's because of all of these people that are here today. We have 7 different states being represented. We have 4 different countries being represented from all over the world. And one of the things that I get all the time is, that doesn't work for me because I live blank, or that doesn't work for me because I tutor blank. Well, you're going to find out today. If you have one of those kinds of questions, bring it on in, because we pretty much have everything represented here. We've got male, we've got female, we've got homeschool moms, we've got retired folks, we've got people who have a boatload of children in their home. We've got it all here, which is totally awesome. And more are coming on in. We've got Alexa coming on in. Here we go. Look at this. This is so awesome, you guys. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people are in the house. How awesome is this? Yay! I can't wait. So we're going to start right now with Ashley DiMercurio. And Ashley, I met her probably about a year ago, I would say, when she joined our community. And she really just wanted to break away from the tutoring company she was working for and be able to replace that income with tutoring on her own with reading. Now, Ashley, are you out in Virginia?
In Vermont.
Vermont, that's what I meant. I had V in my head and the wrong state came on out.
Okay, no worries. Yes, I am in Vermont. My family recently just moved to a new town where I now have an office in the normal floor, not in the basement. I started in the basement.
In the basement.
I know. Well, my basement was scary basement, not nice basement. Yeah, so that was my original goal, was to be able to move away from another company I was working for that I didn't really like the hours, and the pay I felt like wasn't really, I don't know, I felt like it wasn't high enough, really. It wasn't going to cover my expenses, I guess. It's really the bottom line. So, yeah. And so that was my first goal, and I have been able to achieve that. I still teach a tiny bit with that company because I really like the students.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong. There's no need to have to just completely separate yourself, because a lot of the companies, they don't require that you don't work for another company or start getting clients on your own.
Right.
So that can work. You just want to make sure, you guys, those of you that are out there, that you just know that as you go on in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so I was able to achieve that goal within 6 months. I feel like I replaced the income that I was making from that company with income from private students. So that was
wow. That is exciting. That's awesome. Okay. So I want you to tell us, what did tutoring look like when you began, and what does tutoring look like now?
Sure. So when I first started, my husband worked full time, and I was tutoring just to bring in supplemental income. We were homeschooling, we are homeschooling our kids, and I needed something flexible that I could do from home. And I had one of my first students was my niece who lives in Maine that I wouldn't normally be able to tutor if it wasn't, if it had to be only in person. I really wanted to be able to help her with reading. And so I started just doing some research when I was working for the other company. And that's when I found Joanne. And I was like, well, she's doing exactly what I want to be doing. So I'm going to learn from her. And that was like the best decision ever. And it completely changed my life. And so I was able to replace that income. And then, about 9 months later, maybe, because it was just about 3 months ago, my husband actually lost his job. And I was telling Joanne at the beginning that I thought it was like devastating. I thought that was like going to ruin us. I really did not know how we were going to recover from that. And I thought he'd get a job quickly, but he really didn't. And I was like, all right, well, I'll just take on some more students. So I put it out there to all of you amazing people to please pray for me and help me bring in some more clients. And you all did. And I reached out to everybody I knew in my whole network. And I was like, this is what has to happen. And it did. And I just started bringing in, I was able to double my client load over the next 6 weeks, which was amazing. And at that point, I then replaced my husband's income that he had lost from losing his job. So that took the pressure off him to have to go back to work. And since then I've brought on even more clients. And I at this point, I'm almost to the point where I feel like I have more coming to me than I can really take on, which is amazing.
Great problem.
Yes, it's amazing. And at this point, my husband even interviewed for a job that we're like, not even sure. Like we have the freedom to like weigh that. Like, does he really want that? Is that really a good fit for him? It's not like he's not pressured to do that. So awesome. My business looks completely different than it did a year ago.
It does. It does. And you know what I noticed? The biggest difference is just how happy you are.
Yes.
So happy and fulfilled by what you get to do every single day. Like you get to be there for your family. You get to bring in an income, and your husband doesn't have to feel that pressure of I have to do a job that I don't work to support my family. He can choose a job that is going to fulfill him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It really is. It's a gift. Like, I know it sounds kind of like cliched, but like, I mean, it really has changed my life. So I like still feel like my head is spinning. We talk about it's like dreamy, like it's dreamy right now. We get to go to the park together as a family, and we get to rearrange things and take a day off when people are in town. And it's just, he even said, oh, if I went back to work, I'd miss this, so it's been really great.
that is awesome. That is so, so awesome. And Elizabeth, who is in the house, she is like starting to like just kick it in her business. And she says, incredible, Ashley, 6 months. Unbelievable. We've got Miriam from London. Hey, Miriam. And we've got Online ESL Hustle. That's our Danielle. Hey, Danielle. And Anna Edmondson. Hey, Anna. So glad that you guys are here. So definitely, if you guys are following us in the chat, definitely any questions that you had, feel free, throw them on in. And at the same time, if you are if you got a question, put the question on inside of there. And don't ask about the orange, okay? I'm in Florida. Apparently oranges are their like favorite fruit. And so they decided to turn me into an orange color. I have terrible lighting here and there's nothing I can do. It just is what it is today. So,
oh, well.
Would you love it? It's so funny. Like, and the coolest thing, you guys, like, I was actually, as I was like traveling yesterday, I was able to still do my business. I was able to do my live calls. I was able to work with one of my tutoring students. My flight landed on time. I was able to work with my student that I had to work in the evening. And then I got on my next flight. I was like, really? Like, can life really be this perfect and amazing all the time? I don't know if it can, but right now it is. Don't you agree, Ashley?
Yes, I definitely. It really is very amazing. And I know you had asked us what would be some of our best piece of advice, or like what would be one piece of advice. It was really hard to come up with one thing. I don't know if anybody else felt that way, but if I had to say one thing that has been so important for me, okay, this is actually, I think, kind of 3 things, but they go together. So I think it's super important to be coachable. And that's like what I mentioned at the beginning. Like I found people who were doing what I wanted to do well, and then I learned from them. And, it's not, you can't do everything by yourself. So you have to have people to help you and take that advice and really use it. Like be action oriented, like do it. Be patient, because like 6 months was pretty fast. And I feel like a year, when I look back on the year, I'm like, okay, that that seems like reasonable to me, that I got to where I am in a year, but it's not going to happen like overnight. It's not.
Right.
Although Terry gets a lot of people really quickly,
Yes,
but she's an anomaly. No. But yeah, I think be patient and be fearless, right? So like whatever you think, I mean, you can think, well, what if that happens? But then just do it anyway. Like,
Right.
and you know, there's going to be rejection. I feel like being an entrepreneur is like, it just, there's like ups and downs. It's a roller coaster. So you just have to like accept that and then just keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what I've done. Like, okay, that person didn't work out, on to the next, you know, like, because
yeah, and that's okay. Like, not everybody's going to be a good fit, and that's okay.
Right, exactly.
Because there's another one that's waiting for you that is a right fit.
Right. Yes. And what all of us are doing, all of you, is so important. Like, you have a gift to really help kids. And there are kids out there waiting for you to help them get to where they need to be to reach their potential. So that I've just really realized that after when I've seen the students' growth, I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I was supposed to be here doing this. I was supposed to meet this student. And I really believe that for all of you.
Yeah, I agree. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing.
Sure.
We're gonna popcorn back on in with some other people here, and then afterwards we're gonna open up the door for anybody just to kind of like share some responses that they have. But I want to introduce you guys to Ann Mitchell, and Ann is another incredible tutor that oh my gosh, Ann has been with this community since the very beginning. She is like a founder of the community with me, and she has just. It's been so awesome to see Anne be able to grow with her business as well. In fact, she beats me in the rankings on Google. Okay. All right. So this girl has got it going on. If you type in online reading tutor, she comes right above me, Castle Rock Tutoring. Now, Anne is a grandmother and she's got like a ton of kids. You got 4 kids, right?
4.
4 kids. And then you watch your grandson during the day.
Yes.
So talk us through like what tutoring looked like for you in the beginning and what it looks like now.
Well, it was 6 years ago. And since I have 4 kids, one of them struggled emotionally. So someone needed to stay home with her. So I decided to leave my teaching job and stay home with her. Then my little grandson arrived, not too far behind that. So I decided, well, what do I need to do? What can I do that I would enjoy and keep us afloat for a little while? Mm-hmm. So I decided to start tutoring. And when I started at the library and I started traveling to my students' homes. And I was nicknamed the traveling tutor because you could see my logo all over town. And then, like you said, a year or so after I started, I was searching online. How can I do this online so I don't have to travel all over town? And I found you. And of course, I've been there since the beginning.
Yes.
But it took me a while to get the courage to go online.
Yeah.
I wasn't a guru on the computer. My husband's an IT tech, but I have no idea what I was doing. And then 2 years ago, I took the plunge, and her mom worked in IT and she worked from home. So I said, can we try this out? And she only lived like 20 minutes away, but that 20 minutes makes a big 40-minute time gap.
It does.
So we tried it out one day, and she just finished up with me at the beginning of summer, and here I am, almost 2.5 years later. I'm fully booked. So
I love it. You guys, so many of you guys that are here with us today are fully booked. And I think this is like so amazing. Those of you that keep sticking around our community, this is what happens. I mean, if you don't want to be booked, don't hang out with us. All right. That's fine. I get that. Like, I'm not going to judge you or anything. That's fine. But if you do want to get booked, I mean, stay with us because it is going to happen. This is so awesome. I love it. So what piece of advice would you give? What's your best piece of advice when it comes to tutoring online, Anne?
I'm thinking patience would be the biggest thing, because being a tutor, the flux, and I'll be full today, tomorrow, who knows what'll happen. So you just have to be patient and have the courage to keep going on.
Yes. And I think to add to that, being consistent and persistent.
Yes.
Right. Like those are like really two important characteristics that we need to have so that we can be able to get through those tough times that we specifically have in our business. And so there, like you said, there's going to be times where we have more students than we want. There's going to be times when there's less students than we want. And a lot of it doesn't have to do with us. Sometimes it just is what it is, and to accept that for what it is, knowing that at times my business has more, at times my business has less, and we're going to go with the flow.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Awesome. And we've got Scindia in the house. Scindia is from India, and Scindia teaches math, and she works with people all over the world with tutoring math. Scindia, tell us about your tutoring business and like how you got started, where you came from, and what it looks like.
So I'm from India. So I started tutoring right after my college. So it was difficult because I did not have any experience. I did not teach in school. So I really found it difficult because I did not have any credibility as a tutor, and I did not have any experience. So it was very difficult. But then I joined you. I found you online, and you coached me, and I worked on my online presence. And now I work with kids from around like 10 countries in the last 1 year. So that's a great thing, because when I joined the group, I was like hopeless. I did not even have a single client, and I had only one client, and he was like a local client here in India, and I was like being paid very less. And now I'm working with I've worked with kids from like 10 countries, so that's a great thing. And yeah, I'm feeling proud of myself, and there is still room to grow because I'm starting out, and I'm enjoying this business compared to all my friends who graduated with me. So that's a great thing. I'm learning a lot of stuff online, like I'm learning SEO, and it comes as a package. You get to learn a lot of things when you have a business, and I'm absolutely enjoying what I do right now.
Yeah, there's so much joy in the whole creation stage, and that's exactly like where you're at right now. It's like, okay, and like you said, there is always more to grow and learn, and I'm still doing that too with my business, and growing and learning and applying, and it just doesn't end. And that's the beautiful part about being part of like this community together. We get to do that together, which is really, really awesome. Someone will be like, hey, have you heard of this? Hey, let's check it out. We'll find out if that's going to be the best thing or the not best thing, or maybe it will be the best thing for some people, tutors, and that's so cool. So what piece of advice would you give Sindhu for
people? So I started as a very new tutor. I was very brand new when I started, so I did not have any credibility. I did not have any testimonials and all this kind of stuff. So if you're just like me and trying to track clients overseas or in Western countries or Middle East or wherever, just establish your online presence. I really can't emphasize the importance of having an online presence. That's what going to make you confident, and that's what going to get you the credibility, because people are going to research about you, because they are going to let their kid to work with you. That's a very big thing. So you need to really put yourself out there, tell them who you are and what you are. They are going to you have to answer all their questions out there. So that's a very important thing. Building my online presence was the best thing. So that's the one advice that I have for everyone.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to share who you are, your face, your image, like that kind of, like, it's so scary in the beginning, isn't it? To like be able to put our face on stuff.
Yes, I was a person who didn't even have my profile pic in Facebook, but then I had to come up with a video. I had to tell who I am, how I struggled with math, and all that was like very embarrassing and awkward. But that's what we are going to do. We need to make ourselves vulnerable. We need to let them know who we are. So that's going to, you have to do one thing that scares you every day. So you have to do that.
I love that. Do one thing that scares you every day. I love it. And get past it and walk through it so you can see that you can do it. Yes, that's awesome. Were you certified when you started tutoring?
No, not at all. So I just had a degree. I had a master's degree in math, and that's it. So I had a couple of testimonials, and that's it. So if you don't have testimonials, just do a pilot study, just tutor people for free, just get testimonials, just get some experience and credibility, do research and all that stuff. So certification is not very important, as you said, you told me that, because I was very worried about that in the very beginning, that I did not have any certification and all that kind of stuff. And you told me that it's fine, and everyone, I mean, most of the people are like that. So that was a great thing. So that's why I think that guidance, like, I mean, your guidance was like very important to me, uh, 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 for being what I am right now. So I need to thank you for that.
Well, it gives me nothing but pure joy to be here with you guys and support you guys on this journey. And it's really a community of people supporting each other through the whole entire thing. And you're right, it is not about what your credentials are. It is what kinds of results can you get. And if you can get those, people don't care what your credentials are. At the end of the day, they want to see somebody who can get results. And you get results, Scindia. So awesome. I'm so excited for where you're at in your business. And you're able to charge a lot more money than you were able to charge just working with, you know, local people, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm charging like, I think 10 times the more money that I do. Yeah.
Wow, 10 times per hour.
Yes.
Wow. We're not making this up. Like, this is not a fake video, you guys. Like, and I don't even like promote myself as like, you can make like tons of cash tutoring online, join us, blah, blah. No, but look what's really happening. Like, she's charging 10 times more what she could be charging working for a company or in her local area. That is absolutely incredible. Thank you for sharing that. I know it's real. We become vulnerable when we talk about money as tutors, because a lot of us have this feeling like, I do this because I love it. But at the same time, we also need money to live. Like, we need money to pay our bills. We need money to send our kids to school. We need money to pay for the field trips. We need money to eat. If we did this just for volunteering, we wouldn't be as probably passionate about it, because if you don't have the income coming on, and that means you have to have another job so that you can do this on the side. And here people are doing this as their full-time job. And that is just incredible. So thank you for sharing your story, Scindia. We've got Suzanne Davis. Hey, Suzanne. Suzanne is out in New York. She's an academic writing coach. And Suzanne is like, oh my gosh, I've watched Suzanne for the last 3 years just like blossom into this incredible, like go-getting, nothing's going to stop her woman. And it's been so much fun. I got to meet her in 2 weeks ago when we went out to Cape Coral, and we got to hang out and think bigger about our business. Those of you who are wondering, like, oh my gosh, wait, you meet together live? Yeah. In fact, if you guys want to be able to join us live, we've got another trip coming on up in February. We're going to go to Cape Coral, into even a bigger place. So, so Suzanne, tell us about what tutoring was like for you in the beginning, and then like how it's grown and how it is today.
Well, there were no clients in the beginning, and there were no clients for a while. And, you know, but I believed in this online presence a lot, like Scindia does, and just sticking with creating content. And for me, it was mostly blogging. And now, of course, it's much bigger. I just had this interview with this woman, Rachel Gallows, who has a membership site for parents with students who are struggling. And it was the weirdest moment because she was introducing me, and she's like, and this is the go-to girl for academic writing. And I'm like, when did I become that? When did that happen for me? Mm-hmm. But it did. And I think for me, it's that people are finding me without advertising, which is a big, big difference for me in my business. And then, of course, I get to work with more students in depth, and I see the aha moments a lot more. And so those are really cool, and to see how the technology fosters that even faster than doing it in a classroom, which I think is key.
Yeah. And you keep, like, every time I talk to you, you're like, oh yeah, I have another consultation coming on up. I've got another client. Like, it seems like there's motion happening in your business on that side.
Yes, yes, it is because, for 3 years I've been creating a lot of content, but getting out there, whether it is, well, for me in the beginning, it was mostly blogging, and I still put a lot of my energy in blogging just because I write. I'm an academic writing tutor, and that's my favorite way of creating content. But I was found through my Facebook Live workshops by this woman. It's like, wow, you found me on video somewhere. But it does happen. You do get found when you build that up, and you're willing to stay consistent and hold on to your dream and just keep taking action even when you don't see results right away. And
oh my gosh, that is so pivotal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there. Keep taking action even when you don't see results. And here's the metaphor I always give people. It's we do not sow and reap in the same season, right? So that means that we're putting in all these little seeds all over the internet. And then, it might be 3 months, it might be tomorrow, it might be in a year, but all of a sudden you just start seeing it grow and grow and grow. And I've not run into one person who has been consistent with doing this that hasn't been able to build up their business. And so tell me about what was your experience when you switched from there's some people, they get their clients from going to some of those other websites and those kinds of things where, you can set up profiles and that kind of thing. And then you're kind of competing for wages. And then, you're getting found now because you're an expert in the field and you've been creating content. What are some of the differences that you notice with that?
Well, I think it's a lot easier when you have a consultation with somebody, if they found you and been researching you, for them to say yes.
Yes.
You're not really having to worry about selling yourself.
Yep.
To the extent of when you're putting together profiles, you really have to understand some of the copywriting that's going to attract them. They're a cold lead. That's what you would call them. They're not a warm lead. They hadn't built up that relationship with you. I think when they do find you and they feel like they already know you ahead of time, it's almost more like you're finalizing something. They're there because they found you, they like you, and they want to hire you already.
Yep. And that is such a beautiful place to seriously be with your business, because you are now moving from that spot of I have to sell myself to I never have to be salesy. Now, I don't know about you guys. How many of you guys that are out there in our Tutorpreneur Hero world, how many of you guys like to sound salesy? Oh, there's not one hand that's going up right now, you guys. I know you can't see my full screen. Oh, yeah, you can see everybody. Not one hand, nobody. How many of you guys like to get found what feels like, and it's not, and I say feels like, what feels like accidentally, and then have people move forward with you? Raise your hand.
It's 10 times better.
It's 10 times better. It's 10 times better, for sure. For sure. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that, because it does make a huge difference, and we can show you how to do that here with this community. We've got Terry Grigsby in the house, and many of you guys have seen Terry. She has been known in the first 5 months of her tutoring business of being able to get 25 students. She is a workhorse. We know this. We love her. We appreciate her. And, the fact that she has been sharing her journey with us from the beginning to the end is so awesome to see the successes that she's getting. It continues to inspire me as she continues to get results. Last summer, you guys, if you've joined us on some of the past ones, you may have heard Terry say things like, but people don't hire math tutors in the summer. And now she's booked solid for this summer. So Terry, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Tell us about what tutoring looked like in the beginning for you, and now what it looks like today.
Well, let's be honest. At the beginning, it looked a lot like desperation, to be honest, because I couldn't find a teaching job, and I wanted to keep teaching. And so I went into tutoring because I wanted to keep doing my passion. And so at the beginning, I had no clients, just like everybody else. And I also didn't know how to do the online tutoring. All I knew was I was going to do online tutoring, And that was the main thing. And I knew I was going to do math. That's it. That's all I knew. Everything else I learned through this group or researching myself. So at the beginning, I knew nothing about anything about anything.
And now here you are, and you know everything about everything. No, I'm just kidding. None of us know everything about everything, but together, collectively, we kind of do know everything we need to know, don't we?
I never know everything, but the people in front of me right now have taught me so much already. Yeah. And all the people in our groups teach me every single day. So because of that, and because I was willing to learn, like Ashley said, I have, 3 notebooks full of notes, and that I took over my 1.5 years, and I write everything down, and then I go try it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And it's so incredible. So, all right. So what is your big piece of advice that you want to offer people about online tutoring?
All right. So my biggest advice is watch all the videos you can in here. Do your research on what you're trying to get accomplished. Ask all your questions in our group. Ask anything. People can all raise their hands that I asked too many questions. I know, but that's how you're going to learn. And then try it. Put yourself out there. Hit send. Do not sit back and wait. Hit send, and then you can revise as needed. That's my advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I did.
Well, thank you so much, Terry. Yes, that is what you do. You do it on a daily basis. And I think that's a beautiful part about this community. It's a group of people that they don't talk the talk, they walk the walk, right? If you go into other communities, you'll hear people be like, well, this is a good idea, or people have tried this. No, we want to know what actually works. And so that's why we hang together, so that we can continue to do the things that work. We've got Elaine in the house. Elaine has lives in Ireland. She has both, and she has her own center in Ireland, and she also does online tuition. And so Elaine, tell us about what your business looked like in the very beginning, and then what it looks like today.
Right. Yeah. I've just celebrated my 3rd business birthday.
Yay, so, congratulations.
Yeah, woo! So I opened my centre 3 years ago, the beginning of June, 3 years ago. And the tumbleweed was coming through for the first month. Not a person appeared. I thought, oh no, I made a massive mistake. I ploughed all my money into this. What am I going to do? By the end of the first month, I had about 12 in-person students. And I thought, good, this is actually going to work. And it just kept on growing, and it's never stopped growing since. So I've been eternally grateful. About, oh goodness, it must have been 18 months ago I found you online. It must be about that. Yeah. That's when I decided that I wanted to do something with my daytimes, because I have 3 of my own children. And at that time it was 3. Now I've got 6, because I've got 3 foster kids as well. So I'm the one with the house full of kids, everyone. It's me. Sorry, it's me. So I wanted to fill up my daytime so that I could try to spend more time in the evening with the children at home, and to condense my work week. So I thought online tutoring was going to be the way forward for me. But like Terry said before, I knew nothing about what I was going to be doing. So I'm so grateful I found this group, because I've learned everything that I needed to know to get going. I didn't know how to set up a website. I didn't know how to market. I didn't know where to go to work. I don't think I even knew what search engine optimization was at the beginning. All the little things that just come naturally to me now were definitely not in my sphere at all. I had no clue. So 18 months ago to now, nobody online. Now I've got 16 students online. And that's on top of my groups that I teach in the centre. So I've condensed my work week down to 4 days a week. And I work like a Trojan in those 4 days. I work probably 12 hours, 10 to 12 hours each day in those days. But it means the rest of the week's for me and my family.
Yeah, that's awesome. We can design this any way that you want. So like if some of you guys are listening and it totally scares you to work that much, just know that there are people who choose to work less. So the amount of time that you get to work, you get to choose. And the fact that you are getting results like this is just incredible, because it means it's possible for us, right? It's sustainable. People want to know that. Like, is this a sustainable business? What would you say to somebody who says that?
Oh, it certainly is sustainable. You never have the same clients for a long time. Well, if you're very lucky, they'll stay with you for a few years. I do have a few that have been with me from the beginning of my online journey, and even from the beginning of my in-person journey here. So I'm very fortunate I have some people who do stick with me. But it's the nature of the game, isn't it? We're going to have clients leave us, new clients join us. Just not to be afraid, because every journey will come to its natural end, and you will find people to replace. And it's just not being afraid of not filling those spaces again, because you do. You fill them quickly. And sometimes you feel you have too many clients, which is a great problem to have.
Right?
Fabulous problem to have.
It's a fabulous problem to have. And then you just start thinking about other solutions and what can we do? And, you know, do I put them on a wait list, or what do I do? Like, you just come up with other solutions for it. So
absolutely.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. I know that lots of people that, you know, that all the other people watching out here that have 6 kids, they are admiring you right now. Like, how in the world does she do that?
Now, do you know, I think there's just one thing that I would say to anybody, no matter if you've got 2 clients, 20 clients, as long as you keep doing things every day or every week to keep marketing your business, that is how those gaps will be filled when people do leave you. So it's important to keep marketing your business all the time.
Yeah.
And never stop that. That's the crucial thing to me anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got Paul in the house. Paul is from, okay, let's see if I pronounce this correctly. Is it Lancashire? Oh, we got to get you unmuted. Unmute. Oh, okay, you're muted right now. There we go.
Yeah, not bad, Lancashire.
Okay, yeah. Lancashire.
Near Manchester is probably better for most people.
Okay. He's from England. So Paul, you had a 100% in-person tutoring business before you started doing the online tutoring, right?
Yeah.
So tell us what tutoring looked like when you got started, and what it looks like today.
Yeah. Well, similar to what Ashley went through, I was in the process of the firm I was working for going through redundancy, and I was doing some tutoring on the side while I was there. And then I went into tutoring face-to-face straight after that. And it was fantastic. You know, I often said it was a job I would do for free, you know, if I didn't have bills to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, big, fantastic job. And the only thing that let it down was the traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the amount of time spent traveling rather than tutoring. Right. And especially in the beginning, when you don't have many students, you'll travel anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll say, where are you? Yes, I'll go. And then another student crops up that's, you know, even further in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
You're traveling to them, and you're spending more time traveling than tutoring.
Yeah.
And as you get busier, you can sort of make that a bit better, because you can get students closer together. But then, you know, it's always a difficulty, you know, when the student wants to change time or you get a new student. And I thought there's got to be a better way of doing this.
Yeah.
Because of looking into online tutoring.
Yeah. Yeah.
I must have looked into it for years.
Yeah.
Before I actually started to get going.
I feel like you've been part of our community as long as Anne has been part of our community.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You've been with us since the very beginning. And so now you're 100% online, right?
Yes. Yeah. And since just moving to online this academic year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That is so awesome. Oh my gosh. And so how has that changed then your family life and your business?
Yeah. Well, business life, it's changed because you can tutor students back to back. You know, all that time spent traveling is now spent tutoring. Because you're going all over the country or worldwide, you can raise your prices.
Mm-hmm.
Only Lancashire your prices can only go up to so much.
Right.
Yeah. But if you're going around the country worldwide, you know, there's people to pay to prepare to pay higher prices.
Yep.
Yeah. So my prices have gone up. I'm doing more tuition. You know, and I think I've said before, I've almost doubled my income by moving online.
Wow. That is awesome. So have you increased the amount of students you're able to work with too?
No, I'm probably working less, but earning more. Yeah, I'm finishing at 8 o'clock at night. So between 4 and 8 o'clock. It's one of my boys walking in.
Yeah, not bad.
And, you know, so I can spend time with them. You know, he can come in this room on his phone or whatever. He's often kicking a football about or something. And yeah, do you want to say hello?
Yeah, come on over. Say hi to us.
Yeah, look, you're on YouTube. Oh yeah. So, you know, even while I'm tutoring, you know, he can, you know, be in the room, you can spend time. He often says, where's Daddy? Oh, he's just in the room next door. And he's happy with that, just to know I'm in the house, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and he's now about to kick a football about, you know. It's, you know, when you're tutoring, you know, you just mute, you know, your students answering a question. You don't have to listen to that football being kicked around the room.
But you can listen to the wonderful giggle on your side and how much fun it is. I love it. Oh my gosh, that giggle is awesome. So what advice would you give to other tutors about starting their online tutoring business?
Yes, I was trying to think about that. And one of the things I find best was online network meetings. Yes, not only will you learn in them some aspect of online tuition, it's not much different into being in those meetings to being in a meeting like this to online tutoring.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You know, because all you're doing is it's not much of a step from doing this to what we do in online tutoring.
Right. Yeah. So true. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And just so you guys all know, Elizabeth says that all of your stories right now are so inspiring that it goes to show that no matter where you're from or what your experience you had, as long as you know your subject, you can be successful. And she has nailed it. And I'll just tell you, this opens up opportunities for people that, you know, do have some limiting circumstances, illnesses, or we've had people inside of our community that are blind. We've had people inside of our community that are wheelchair bound. We've had people in our community that they are on government assistance. I mean, all walks of life can be able to keep this up as a career opportunity. So awesome. All right, now we've got Dana K. Brenner. Oh my gosh, you've been with me since the beginning as well. Oh my God, you guys have no idea like how exciting this is to see all you like folks that like you have been with me since the very like beginning of time, since I've really put myself out there to help other tutors. You've been there and you're getting success. So Dana, tell us about, you're out in Wisconsin. Tell us about what tutoring looked like before for you and what it looks like now.
Well, in the very beginning, I realized when I found out my son had dyslexia, I searched around and started a dyslexia training program. And at the time I lived in a different state and I was traveling to yet another state to get training. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, I thought there were so many people who were coming to my attention that they lived in remote areas and they needed to be serviced. But so to me, driving to them was never an option because I kind of lived out in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. So I thought there has to be a way to do this online. And I've kind of always been a kind of a techie interested person, not really necessarily good, but just kind of interested. And so I had some administrators who were adamantly opposed to the fact that this dyslexia therapy will never be a thing online. It will never happen. There is no way. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to prove you wrong. So, and that's kind of been the attitude since then. I didn't say anything. I just kept it to myself. But now on the other side of that is like, you know what? I am glad I saw that through. I'm glad I stuck with it, because it's so much better than I ever could have imagined, really, honestly. So it's been a fantastic ride.
Yeah, that is so awesome. Yeah, and you homeschool your kids as well.
Yeah, and we've got some special needs going on and some emotional issues. And I work with a little girl right now. I say little, she's over 6 feet tall, but she has some emotional issues, recently had a health scare. So I work with having the title that I do, and this goes into play for price too, because you mentioned price, and I'm like everybody else, didn't know in the beginning, well, what are my services worth? But now I charge enough that I'm getting those more complicated, more emotionally involved students. So I'm getting calls from people, and I don't really, from random places like Instagram. I'll post to Instagram once a week. Had a mom call and it's kind of a more professional level. I don't know what experience they're looking for, a professional level service, I guess. And I never really anticipated that when I started. I just kind of was, seeing where this goes. But now I'm getting calls that are surprising, just because they're more of a, I don't know, they're different. I don't really know how to say
People
it.
see you. People are recognizing you as an expert that can help their child.
Yeah, and it's just kind of, I think it was Suzanne that said, when did this happen? Somewhere in the middle of all of that. Yeah, that happened. So it does look different than I thought.
Yeah. Well, what advice would you offer people? What's your big secret tip?
Secret tip would be probably make your daily goals. I like what Scindia said, put yourself out there every day, be a little bit uncomfortable, and have a vision of the end goal, but then be flexible in between, be moldable, be coachable, because things, as you navigate and you change, it may end up in a very different place than what you thought. So.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you are here and you've joined us and you've been with us since the beginning. You're getting great results. You're making more money. You're doing it online. Yeah, I had people tell me too that dyslexia tutoring could not be done online. And I was just like, then you haven't worked with the students that I've worked with, because they have dyslexia and I'm working with them online and they're getting great results. So
yeah,
so it's more ignorance. Like people who make that comment, it's off of ignorance, not because they've actually tried it. And it doesn't get them very far staying ignorant.
That's right. And I get better results doing online than I ever did being in person. So.
Yep, absolutely. 100%. Yeah. I never knew I was going to be able to close the gap, 8 to 12 hours of instruction, and then be able to teach other tutors how to do the same thing. That still blows me away today. Like, I'm so grateful that God put me in all the places that he did, so that I could learn what I needed to learn. And then I could put it into action when I moved into this forum, and then be able to give that gift to other people. It just unbelievable. Love it. Yep. And we've got Allie. Allie is officially book solid. So 2 weeks ago, Allie was with me in Cape Coral, and she had 10 students. She wanted to get 2 more. And she was like, all right, she kept getting, she got a couple of people calling her back and that kind of stuff. Some went through, some didn't go through. And then finally last night, I got the big message. They've gone through and they're doing more hours than she even normally does working with other students. So she is officially book solid. Woo! Hello, Allie. How are you? All right, I need you to unmute yourself. You're muted.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, thank you. I'm great. It's kind of crazy because last week I was really down, and Joanne was helping me pick me back up after that, being down and some of the things not going as well as I had hoped, and just having twins at home is just a lot because they're so little. They're 19 months old.
Wow.
And this past weekend, I had 2 people contact me, and then both wanted and went through with 2 hours a week. So I was like, I am now beyond my goal. And
Beyond Book Solid. It's going to be a new book. Beyond Book Solid.
Yes, Beyond Book Solid. Exactly. My husband's like, okay, enough, no more.
You've been able to do something so cool because you've been able to hire you've been able to hire 2 new people because of this. Who have you hired?
Yes, so we have a nanny that helps us. Well, she was helping us twice a week because my parents live like right down the street, so they can help us. They're very flexible with their schedules as far as work, but they're getting tougher, the girls are. So we went ahead and brought the nanny on for 20 hours and doubled her hours. So I was able to do that. So I can do this, what I love, and also be with them, part-time and when it works, and obviously putting them first. And then we went ahead and hired a cleaner for our house because I just need to start delegating and not trying to take on everything myself.
Yeah, which is huge, right, you guys? I mean, we can try to take it all on ourselves, especially some of us who are, the men feel like they need to be like, they have to like take on that full time because they're the sole income earner, right? And the female feels like she needs to handle it all. Like she's got to take care of the cleaning of the house, the taking care of the kids, the cooking and all of that, and running her business. And there's just so many, things that go with that all of a sudden you start realizing, wait, I'm making more money now. I can actually hire somebody to do that. And that just like releases all that pressure that I don't have to do it all. And I can still be present for my family. So I think that's a huge thing that we can all take from Allie is, hire people where necessary, right?
Yes, because I was starting to get so frustrated. And that was part of why I was so upset last week. And again, like it's a roller coaster. It's totally a roller coaster, like people have said. And it can be so up and down. So last week I was so down, but this week I'm like, oh my gosh, look at where I am. It's crazy. So yeah, I mean, if that's just something that I think would be maybe my piece of advice, like be optimistic, because there's always going to be somebody to fill that slot. And the more content you put out and the more you join these calls and have these people to support you and ask your questions and all the things everyone else has said, the more you're going to be able to find people to fill those slots much more quickly, like Elaine was saying, really. So it's kind of crazy how it can be like that. But I think it's keep yourself optimistic, because the next week can be totally different than the week before.
Mm-hmm. That is, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And we've got V in the house. Hey, V. At one point, I tried to pronounce her wonderful name and I kept messing it up. So now we say V because then I don't mess that part up.
That's totally okay.
So V, tell us about your tutoring business. So you started off in the United States tutoring, and then you went back to India and you continue to do the tutoring online. And so tell us about what that looked like for you and what it looks like today.
Initially, I just started tutoring for fun. It was more like, hey, kids, come on together. Let's have some fun with math. I'll teach you how math can be fun. It need not be boring. And the first student I just taught her for free. But barely within like 3 or 4 hours, her mom said she would pay me. And since the kid liked it so much, that kid and her mom told a bunch of their friends, like, yeah, just try it out. My kid loved it. And she was like, yeah, it's amazing. And that's how it started off. Like, so it was like one to another and so on. And then I had one mom who was like, if you have to learn geometry, you have to learn it from her. So that kind of went out, and there was a common joke that I was tutoring every single kid in that area. I wasn't, but they just thought like I tutored everybody in that area. Every single Indian kid, because I was in that community. Like we all used to go to the temple together, so they were like, are you tutoring every single Indian kid over there? I was like, no, not really. It's just like the word went around and whoever came up, I just tutored them, that's it. So yeah. That went on good over there. Then I switched, came back to India after a year or so, but then the timings were off, like really, really, really off. It's like evening for Eastern time was like my early morning, like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Okay.
The only 2 classes, which meant I did have to downsize. But that also meant that I only got those who were like willing to go to any lengths to be with me, they were with me. So it's like it fizzled out all the ones who were like, kind of, it's okay, nice, be there. I didn't have anybody. I only had kids who were like, I'm hardcore into it. Even if it's like from 9 to 10 p.m. at night, I'm still going to be with you. Or even if it's 6 to 7 in the early morning, I'm still going to be with you. I will work through it. So I got a whole bunch of serious kids and it went on. Summer is my busiest time. This is the first year where I have only 11 kids during summer. But then just now I took a call. Like I came online and then I went out for a couple of minutes. That was a consultation call.
Oh, nice.
I have a new client start with me today.
Oh, that is so exciting. That's so exciting. So tell us, what is your biggest tip or advice you can give people?
I have a lot of Indian tutors ask me, like, how do you charge as much as you do? Do you even get people paying you that much? I charge 35 per hour, whereas the ongoing Indian rate, like around here, on the higher side is $10 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So my first piece of advice is always have your unique selling proposition ready. Like, why do they have to pay you so much when everybody else is charging you $10 an hour? So unless you can answer the question first yourself, then how do you think you're going to convince the clients that they have to pay you so much? Like you're 3.5 times the rate at least.
Yes. Yeah. And
So,
your special thing is that you're able to help kids when it comes to those math competitions.
yes, not only that, typically all tutors, most of the tutors I talk to here, they tutor 5 days a week, every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to charge $35 per hour for every single day of the week, no client is going to be able to pay that much. But if you say whatever they cover in school, I can cover more than what they cover in school and do some more enrichment just once or max twice a day if your kid is really behind, then that kind of means that, okay, I pay the same amount that I'm going to be paying the tutors that I deal with every single day. But now on top of what I can do in school, I also get enrichment on top of it.
Yeah.
And my kid is always in grade, in like 90 plus range. So they're never going to get B's. So it's that confidence that makes the parents hire you, right? Instead, if you say like, okay, I'm going to work with their homework every single day, nobody is willing to pay you more than $10 an hour because that's 10 or 20 because that's how much the high school students charge per year. Homework.
Exactly. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. And we've got in the house, we have Lisa. So Lisa started off with being able to tutor the Praxis online. And she's also added in some additional math students into the mix for herself. So Lisa, tell us what tutoring looked like in the beginning for you and what it looks like today.
So when I got started, nobody wanted to do online. So I was driving to multiple libraries in the area in rush hour every time, sitting in the library so that I had a good spot, waiting for the student. It was super frustrating, a big waste of time. And then a couple of years ago, people started being interested in trying online if it was, convenient.
Right.
The weather's bad, somebody's sick, there's an emergency that we have to study for because there's a quiz tomorrow and I can't get my kid to the library. But now I don't often come across people that aren't willing to do it. So I actually don't see any students in person anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, and that was a little nerve-wracking making that, like drawing the line.
Yeah.
But I'm so much happier this way. Because I can be eating dinner 5 minutes before my tutoring session.
Right.
And that's just so, or I could be working on my marketing, 2 minutes before the tutoring session. As I'm waiting for the student to sign in, I'm not wasting time. I'm actually doing things. So it did make a really big difference for me. And even usually it's not the older students that are hesitant about it. It might be a parent who's nervous about their younger child trying it.
Yeah.
But if you give them enough of an incentive to try, once they see that their kid's like, oh yeah, I got this, no problem. You know, and half the time it's the kid telling the mom how to sign in and, you know, get the camera working the way that you need it. So
yeah,
because they're so much better at it than we are.
Isn't that funny? That's so awesome. That's so true. Yeah, they get onto it. Like the parents that are always like scared too about like, oh, I don't know if the kid can actually do this or not. It's because they have like their own fears and insecurities about technology. It usually isn't that the kid can't do it because they can usually figure everything out quicker.
Yeah, I feel like, especially the younger students, they are more engaged online.
They are.
Yeah. So, and they're more comfortable. It feels a little bit more of a safer space. And I've had kids back when I was in those libraries they would get very nervous if they saw somebody that they knew that they didn't want to know they were getting tutoring.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Whereas this gets to be very private and like in their own space and their own place, and everybody is happy.
Absolutely. And it's so convenient, you know, for the tutor, for the student, especially a lot of kids, they have busier schedules than some of the adults I know. All their activities, and adding another place where they have to, you know, go during the week in those after school hours, it's a lot on them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I always tell my people too, is like, you know, your child is already so busy. I know my kids are. So this allows them to be more of a kid because they can use that time that they would use in the car and they can use it to play and just relax and be a kid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. You know, it's different marketing though. When I started on a platform. So I was kind of at the mercy of the competition on that platform, the rules of the platform. And then about 2 years ago, I started really looking at my own students.
Yeah.
Which has its benefits and challenges. It's really wonderful when you get to keep a greater portion of your earnings. You have more control over how you communicate with your students. So I was on a platform where you weren't supposed to share your email address or direct them to a website or bill them, you know, a monthly plan or bill them for packages, which meant my revenues were super unpredictable.
Sure.
So
now you have control over that.
Yes, exactly. So it's really great. And I've seen a really big difference in my month to month, how it's smoother, but also my revenues have gone up quite a bit since I went off on my own. So
yeah, you're just saying the last couple of months, like since you've joined the Insider Secrets Club, that you've already been making money because of it.
Yeah. Just the Craigslist alone. And I've had tutors.com, and I've got a couple of things on the horizon that I'll be learning in the group too in the next month that I'm really excited about because I signed up for Terry's her challenge. So I'm very excited because a few of those I've never tried at all. So
yeah. And now you get to learn from the best because she's getting students, so you get to learn from the best. So what advice would you give to people that are in the getting started or they're in the growing their business stage?
So I thought about this a lot this morning while I was kind of doing my morning routine. And one of the things that froze me up in the beginning was that I thought I had to really have mastered how to do things like putting myself out there on social media, make one that I still kind of struggle with a little bit, but I'm getting better, video, technology, which I I just listened to something that a video that you talked about the other day where, hey, get out there and practice, buddy up with somebody. And really the thing where I've seen the most growth is when you are working on something that's outside your comfort zone, put it out there in, the Insider Secrets or the Ultimate Support Group for online tutors, and see if anybody wants to partner up with you and go through that. Because likely there's someone else that's struggling with the thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's so much better to go through that with, a partner or a couple of people.
Yeah.
Less than the negative thoughts of, I'm the only one that struggles with this.
Right. True. Yeah. We do go there, don't we?
Yeah. It makes it more fun when you've got someone that you're talking to about it and, cheering each other on.
Yep.
So that would be the thing. Reach out, put yourself out there and say, hey, anybody want to work on this?
Yeah. Awesome. That's great advice. Great advice. And we've got Kyle Simon in the house. Woo woo.
Hey, Joanne.
Hey, Kyle. I know some people have been wondering, like, what do some of these people tutor? And you specifically, you work with SAT, ACT.
ACT.
ACT. I always get the two mixed up, like between tutors. So sorry. So you do ACT, and you're out in Ohio?
Yep, I'm near Cleveland.
Awesome. And so your business has changed a bit since the beginning, since you started. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I went full time with my tutoring business coming up on the two-year anniversary here in the middle of the month.
Yay,
and when I first started, I was doing pretty much everything in person. And just like everybody else says, you're driving from, I wasn't even working at the libraries there. I was actually going to people's homes. And I know everybody probably has one of those horror stories where you show up at a parent's house and I'm like, hey, where are we working at? And they're like, oh, we got a table set up for you in the basement. I remember just laughing because it was like a coffee table that was like a foot off the ground. And I'm like, how are we even supposed to work here? And I realized then that I'm like, okay, this is like too unpredictable. You don't have control of the space. And I remember migrating to, okay, I'll work with people at libraries. Well, then when you're working with people, north, south, east, west, you're driving from one library to the next. And it's like, oh my God, I'm wasting a lot of time doing that. Plus you don't have control of the hours. Plus you don't have control over the space. A lot of variables there. So then I, decided, okay, I'm going to run everything out of one library. And with what I had, I was able to kind of reserve study rooms for extended periods of time, which was like 6 hours, which made it perfect to work with in-person students as well as online, because you could line them up back to back. Then you started realizing, okay, I'm in a slightly different boat than probably a lot of people that are just doing their tutoring business, but I also have my dance business as well. So I work with people privately for that. So I actually saw that I was spending a ton of money on rent to do my dance business, and I didn't have a place to do my tutoring business either way. And I was actually looking at trying to get those under the same roof. So I actually have that lined up here to start July 1st. So that's very exciting, kind of one of those nerve-wracking steps. But I have about 25 students tutoring and have about 20 students for dance. So it's like running dance through the day, running tutoring in the evenings. It's pretty crazy. So
that is awesome. That's an exciting switch to be making.
Yeah. So with a lot of my ACT students, I have a ton of them that are online, but still some of them, even the parents are like, hey, can we come in and meet you in person? Yeah. And it was always one of those, I'm very good in person in terms of one of my strengths is just kind of be able to build that rapport and being able to have a location that I could say, yeah, come here. We could do the first couple sessions, transition online, plus have the ability to line up sessions back to back, plus have the ability to do my dance stuff right there in the same place.
Wow.
I'm very excited about that. At the same time, it's kind of that nerve-wracking moment, kind of taking something else on, but I felt like it was the right move for where I was. So
that is awesome. So what is your best piece of advice that you can give tutors?
I would say that it's definitely an up and down road. You're like a lot of people have said, you know, it's either going to be raining or you're going to have a drought. But hopefully with the marketing and being able to play with that, you get a constant stream of leads coming in. I've been lucky just with test prep, getting younger and younger students coming in and being able to project them out into the future. So I have about 5 people that I'm going to start working with in October that are younger. So that I can say, yeah, you know, I can't get to you now, but I can get to you later. But I would just say from a sales, not that we're ever, you know, sleazy salespeople or doing anything like that, but putting in the time up front, I would say to come up with those 3 top-notch questions that actually have, when you ask the parent, they actually tell you exactly what they want to hear. It takes the pressure off that you're selling. They're basically kind of doing that for you. And you're just there to say, yeah, I hear you. There's this pain point that you're trying to fix. And here's the, you know, the solution that I'm projecting for you. And that's been just a huge turnaround for me, being able to provide that information and do that in a very professional way.
Yeah. Yeah, we get to practice that inside of the Insider Secrets Club of having those conversations and how do I have them and what are those conversations and breaking it all down. So you guys, I'm going to have each of you guys share what your experience has been in the Insider Secrets Club as a member in 5 words or less. I know I'm throwing you guys all on the spot. Like, Elaine, I can't do it. I can't. I've got like books to say. All right. So I'm just going to have you guys just piggyback out and just shout out, like, what are the benefits of being part of the Insider Secrets? Why would somebody want to be part of the Insider Secrets Club, even though we have the ultimate support group? Whatever comes to your mind, you can shout out. It doesn't really have to be 5 words or less. But.
I'll start.
All right.
You are not alone.
Yeah. Perfect.
I was going to say collaboration. So exactly.
Be inspired to take action.
Learn something every day.
Awesome support. When you have trouble, they're always there to pick you up.
Yeah. I mean, it's like surrounding yourself with a support team.
Accountability, learning.
Access to, I was going to say, access to wonderful resources.
Celia wants to be a part of the call. That's what she keeps saying to me. No, I need the headphones so I can hear the people.
Oh, hi, Celia.
I'm like trying to get her to like go, but she was like, I need to hear the people, mommy.
I want to hear the people and what they have to say. Hi, baby. She's gonna be shy now. Yeah, she wasn't shy a second ago.
First I couldn't kick her out of the room. Now she's like, wait.
And we like kids and people here in this group.
Yeah.
So like kids. Hi, Celia. Hi. Well, thank you guys for joining us. It was such an awesome call. I'm so glad you guys are a part of our community. And stay tuned. The doors do open again to the Insider Secrets Club on Monday. So if you want to join amazing people just like this and surround yourself with success, then come join us when those doors open on Monday so that you can take part in everything that happens inside of our community. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to join us. We appreciate it and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everyone.